Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be coloring this love letter piece from yesterday. This was not the video that I planned to go up for today. I planned to post like the third drawing from that Doodle sketchbook video I did not yesterday but the day before. But I was like, that's kind of boring. It was only 10 minutes long, but you only saw one drawing, and I was like, I'm not really feeling it. So I decided to post this today instead. Yeah, so today we're just going to be coloring in this little lady here. Thankfully, I actually got the footage of me coloring in the skin, and so you're gonna see my process for coloring in the face. Um, there is no specific light source for this drawing, and I never really put in a specific light source for my drawings. I know that I should. It would be better. It would have like a more dynamic lighting, and people would be able to be like, oh, I know the light's coming from that way, and it adds the shapes better or whatever. I don't know why I don't do it. I know a lot of things about like art that I'm supposed to do. I just don't do them. It's a real problem that I have. But yeah. This drawing is based on those cute girl Tomer prompts from like 2 years ago. Like I said, the prompt was love letter, and the inspiration behind it was I just thought it would be cute if she was trying to deliver someone a letter. But like in person, imagine like the amount of confidence you have to actually go up to someone and hand them a love letter. Could not be me. Wouldn't catch me dead ever admitting any feelings I had towards any person ever. But she's braver than I am. I'll say that. I put the letter in front of her face. You watched yesterday the original drawing. You saw her mouth, but I thought it would make her look more bashful if I just went ahead and put the letter over her face. I did have some issues with it though, because with tangents, I don't know if you guys know what tangent lines are, but basically tangent lines are lines that they basically meet at this one point, but it's not a point that you want them to. Like the lines, instead of going over each other, they're meeting, and it's messing up with the composition of your drawing. So with the letter on her face, it like meets up with the edge of her face, and so the part of the letter that is like the folded over part, it's kind of like giving the illusion of being her chin with the way that I lined it up. And so that was a tangent that I didn't really like. I feel like if I had left the letter down around her chest where it was originally, I wouldn't have this problem. But I really didn't want to do that, and I had already been drawing this drawing for 4 hours at that point, and I was like, oh, I'm done with it. Like, spending all that time on the hands really drained my enthusiasm for this piece. I do like the way it turned out at the end. This is only half of the coloring because this is a real-time drawing and it takes me a while to color. It takes me like an hour to an hour and a half to do a finished marker piece. I don't know if that's fast or if that's slow, but this is a pretty small drawing. It's a 6x4, I believe. So you can just imagine how long it takes me to do like the full size pages in my finished sketchbook with finished illustration in it, like my art book or whatever. Also, I'm like super out of practice. I said before that I was burned out for a while, so I wasn't really doing any finished pieces at all, and I haven't really been using my markers, and it's actually a real problem because a lot of my markers are dried out, like really dried out. Like I have to buy whole new ones, and I don't know if you guys know anything about Copic markers, but they're not cheap, and especially in this economy. I know that makes me sound like an old person, but really, this economy really be beating people up out here, and like $7 for a marker is ridiculous. And I could just go ahead and invest in like a cheaper brand like Ohuhu, but I've already sunk a lot of costs into my Copics. Like I have like over 100 of them, so I really don't want to switch brands. I'm interested in trying out Ohuhus, just in like a marker hoarder perspective. I'm always into getting new pens and markers, but every time I look at them, I'm like, I don't need these. I have all these Copics and I have all these other brands. I don't need to try another whole new brand of markers. And the same with the Artex. I'm like, oh, they look so nice and they're so pretty. But I don't need markers to be pretty. I need markers for utility reasons, and I have markers that I use all the time. And I know if I buy new ones, I'm not going to use them. So I'm trying my best to resist the urge. And there's also the fact that I'm not super into spending money. I don't know about you guys, but I always get like an immense amount of buyer's regret whenever I spend money on something, especially if it's for me. Like, even if I need it, I'm like, oh gosh, should I really have bought 2 bottles of conditioner at once? It's like, yeah, you need conditioner. Like, it's okay to buy conditioner. But yeah, especially with art supplies. I have so many art supplies. If you're an artist who's been an artist for a long time, you know how many art supplies you have. You just start racking stuff up because you buy stuff and people give you gifts and stuff. And I have so much stuff. I don't ever need to buy anything else. Like, I have so many sketchbooks. I probably have like 15 different sketchbooks in a drawer somewhere, and I still be buying new ones. I bought a new one this week. It was to replace my car sketchbook because it's almost done. But still, I could have just used one of my other sketchbooks, and instead of keeping it in the what's it called, the middle compartment, I could have just kept it in the dash. Like, I didn't need to buy a small size. I could have just put a medium size one in there because I have a bunch of different sketchbooks in all sorts of sizes. It's ridiculous. So yeah, my markers are dried out, so I need to buy new markers or buy refills, and I don't like spending money, and it's really a conundrum. Which makes it a good thing that this piece is in grayscale because I do a lot of upkeep on my grayscale markers because I get a lot of use out of them, and I already have like a bunch of refills for them. I've had them for like the longest amount of time out of most of my markers, I believe. They weren't my first set of markers that I bought, or even my first Copic marker. In particular, the first ever Copic marker I bought was Sand, I believe, which is like E3 or something like that. I don't know why I picked that one as my first one, but that was it. When I do sketchbook tours of my old sketchbooks, you'll probably see me discovering my Copic marker for the first time. But yeah, yeah, I do take care of my grayscale markers pretty well. And I have a lot of gray tone markers in general. Whenever I try out a new brand of markers, I usually go ahead and just buy their gray tone set. I think this is a piece of advice I got from a YouTube video, and if I did, I'm sorry to whoever said this, but I remember someone saying that when you're buying markers, it's smart to go for a gray tone set because all of the values are there, right? So like you could do a whole piece with gray tones and you'll get like all your values, as opposed to like if you bought like a set of like primary colors. It's kind of hard to do a piece that's like cohesive with just primaries. I mean, you can do it, and you can do your best and you can do great. But it's just easier if you use like a gray tone set. I'm pretty sure I'm fucking up whatever it is they said, but that was the gist, or at least that's the gist of what I can remember. Um, yeah, if you're wondering what kind of grays I prefer, it's cool grays. I like cool grays. I like the bluish tones, undertones in a cool gray set. Warm grays are not my favorite. I just prefer cooler colors to warmer colors. My favorite color is green, seafoam green in particular. And my least favorite color is probably red. Maybe it's because my sister likes red, or maybe I just don't like red at all. But I don't really use red too much in my drawings, which is kind of ironic that I'm saying that because I do use red in this drawing. You're not going to see it today because it's not in this coloring, but you'll see it next week when I post the second half of this. So yeah, I prefer cool tones to warm tones. Never really understood why. Maybe it's because I'm a cool guy, but probably not. Probably just preference. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take a moment to talk about the coloring of the shirt in this piece. Clothes are not my strong suit. I decided to keep it simple with this drawing and just put her in a school uniform because I figured, I don't know, if you're giving someone a love letter, it's because you're like a kid. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure full grown adults give people love letters. I'm not sure if it's like super often. I don't don't know what regular people do. Maybe they do that. But anyway, I was like, school uniform, simple, easy, a cute little tie, and a cute little dress shirt, right? I'm not great at shading clothes because I'm not great at adding folds to the clothes. I promise I'm not getting down on myself again. It's just, it's good to recognize your weaknesses so that way you can improve on them. And I need to improve on clothes. So I tried to shade the clothes as best as I could. I find that I'm always shading clothes as like a solid object. Obviously, clothes are a solid, but there is like a sort of malleableness to them in which they move and they fold and they create shadows. And I'm not entirely sure how those shadows interact. I'm pretty sure that over the shadow is like supposed to be lighter, like in the folds is dark, but then there's like sort of like a rim light kind of type thing. I'm not entirely sure. I think it depends depending on what kind of shirt you're drawing. I didn't have a reference for the shadows in a dress shirt, which I probably should do because I love references. I don't know about you guys. Some people are like, oh, you can't use references in art. References is cheating. I don't ever want to speak badly about people, but that's dumb and it's not true. Obviously, when you reference like another person's art, you shouldn't be like copying it like straight up unless you're doing a study. And even if you're doing a study, if you post it, you should give them credit. But if you're like taking reference like from a shirt and then you're taking reference of something else for the pants or you're taking reference for something else for the hands, like that's perfectly fine. I do that all the time. I took a reference of my hands for this photo and for this drawing. And I looked at them to make sure I was drawing the hands in a way that didn't look like shit. And honestly, um lots of people have really good memories and they can remember what something looks like. But I promise you, you'll be like, oh, I totally know what a shirt looks like. And then you'll look at a picture of a shirt and you're like, I was not drawing that even similar in any way. Like, I was like way off. It's because if you have a reference to look at it, you can see all of the things that you don't really recognize when you're just remembering something. So, yeah, in my opinion, reference is good. Obviously, don't steal other people's stuff. Like, that's not cool. But reference things. It's good for you and it'll help build up your visual library in your mind. So yeah. Obviously I don't follow my own advice because I didn't look up a reference for the shirt, but in the future, maybe I will do that. Pivoting just for a second to talk about the background or perhaps the lack thereof of a background. I did not do one for this drawing. I meant to do one for this drawing. I ended up forgetting, or maybe I was just tired of drawing it, but I did not do a background for this guy. I wanted it to match the one in the bathtub, and that one has a background. It's very simple, but it's a background nonetheless. So I wanted to do something simple for this one, but I couldn't think of what I wanted to draw in the background. I thought about trees and adding like little flower petals, but I felt like that would maybe be too busy. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll just do a window, like she's delivering it out next to a window. And I didn't do that either. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do for the background. When I scan this eventually, just so I could like mess with the colors or whatever, I might just go ahead and add a background. I'm not sure what I would add to the background though. There's not very much space back there because I upsized the drawing. But I guess if I make it digital, I can just make the whole thing a bit bigger. I just add more space into the background so that way I could add maybe like some desks and stuff for like a classroom scene. Maybe she's delivering the letter to her love or whatever in the classroom. So maybe that would be good. I'm not sure. And then again, I'm not entirely sure that someone would want to deliver a letter of like declaring their love where it would be really easy for someone to walk in on you. I don't know. I'll think about it more later. Anyway, let's take a moment. I guess I promise I'm not being down on myself in this video, but we'll just take a second to be in our little positivity corner and say something nice about our art today. I'll go first and then you guys can do something for you after, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I like the way that the hands turned out. I spent a lot of time drawing those hands and I used a reference for those hands to get them to look nice. And I think that all that time and effort was well spent because the hands are really handing. Like, they look like hands, they're in a nice position. I think the way that they're curled makes her look a little bit cuter. Yeah, I think they came out really good. Alright, so that was me. Now make sure you guys say something nice about your art, and then we'll move on. Alrighty, did you do it? Alright, good job. I'm proud of you. I know it's not always easy to be nice to ourselves or be kind to ourselves, but we need to make an effort to make sure that we're not just getting down on ourselves as artists. Because recognizing your weaknesses is usually easy. People are always ready to doubt themselves, but recognizing your strengths is harder. Unless somebody points it out to you or you spend a lot of time looking at it and making sure you're looking at it objectively and not just with your, oh, I messed it up glasses, like a lot of artists do. But recognizing your strengths is just as important as recognizing your weaknesses, because if you're looking at your art and you see something that turns out good and you're like, well, I really liked drawing that, then you'll spend more time drawing that and you'll be able to improve. Seeing what you're good at is also going to help you improve. Just focusing on the negative stuff will help you improve a little bit, but it'll really affect your confidence, and then you probably won't want to draw anymore. And I don't want anybody to give up on drawing if they really like doing it. Alrighty, so we have about 4 minutes left in the video, and I've run out of things to talk about for this drawing in particular, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just shift gears to talking about maybe what I want to draw for next week. As you already know, there's going to be a sketchbook tour tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be able to finish my car sketchbook and show it to you guys, so that way you can get a taste of what my art looks like currently. You only have seen like a couple of illustrations from me so far, and I really don't just draw cute girls most of the time. I've just been posting these videos of these speed paints because not speed paints, but of these cute girl October drawings, because I really wanted to redraw them, and I'm using this channel as an excuse. But like I said, I don't really draw a lot of finished stuff. Mostly I just do sketches, so hopefully you'll be able to see in my car sketchbook more what my style looks like currently. Not to say that there's anything wrong with just drawing cute girls. For a long time, all I drew was cute girls. They're one of my favorite things to draw. If anything, I need to get more back into drawing cute girls, because I feel like I've been having trouble getting back into drawing them. I've been drawing like guys for like the last 2 years. I didn't really draw guys before, but they're pretty much my main subject matter now. So I don't think there's anything wrong with just drawing cute girls. If that's what you want to do, just draw cute girls all the time, because it would be pretty hypocritical if I said you shouldn't just draw cute girls, because that's what I did for a long time, and I'm trying to get back into it. But moving on, thinking about maybe next week posting some fan art. I was rereading One Piece, and I was taking, a screen grabs of like the manga panels that I felt like I wanted to redraw, and I've been wanting to do that for a couple of months now, and I have my YouTube channel now, so I have an excuse to just do whatever I want with my art, and like it'll help give me some motivation. So hopefully sometime next week I'll be able to bring myself to do a couple of One Piece manga panel redraws. Longest time I've wanted to just go ahead and redraw some of Oda's color spreads. I don't know if you guys have seen like the 2-page color spreads that he does at the beginning of One Piece chapters sometimes, but they're always so bright and colorful, and they always have a lot of stuff going on, and that's kind of what I want with my art. I kind of like it when it has a lot of stuff going on. I know I said I don't really like clutter, and I don't really like clutter in real life, but in drawings it looks nice. There's a lot to look at, and your eyes bounce around all over the place, and he draws a lot of animals, and he draws a lot of interesting poses. So I felt like if I did some studies of those, that it would help me try to figure out like composition and practice different body positions and stuff. So if you guys are interested in seeing me do some redraws of One Piece stuff, I would be interested in doing those things. Those drawings would probably have to be speed paints though, because that would take drawing like 9 to 10 people would really take more than an hour, and I can't even talk for 30 minutes. So if I end up doing those, they're gonna be speed paints, just so I could have more substance in the art, because just drawing one person at a time I think would be kind of boring for you guys to watch. But if you guys are really into the real-time videos, I guess I could just keep them real time and just post them over a long period of time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's all I have to say for today. I'll go ahead and see you guys tomorrow with the next video, and then once again we're gonna be taking a break over the weekend. All right, see you later. Bye.